Howdy folks, RagingRaptor here and welcome to a new Explained, and today it is all about the new strategic order of war mode, which is coming to the Sandbox next week. Today, or rather yesterday, we already had a sneak peek by Circon, by Mylamp, by Jeremia and by Keyhand, which were able to play this mode on a special server, and on Monday you might have the opportunity to play it as well. Well, I will most likely do that on Monday, so we'll see how this is going. But before we do that, let's just jump in and see what this mode is all about, and I give you the most important things you need to know. Now, the Sandbox Test starts on the January 21st and goes until January the 28th, so it's just 1 week of testing. And right now you can already send your application, and here it is important to point out that, well, you have to have at least 1 year of World of Tanks experience under your belt, as well as experience while playing tier 10 vehicles. So I'm pretty confident that if you are submitting an application and you don't have 7 tier 10 tanks, that you will most likely not be picked for this test. But then again, it's just a sandbox test. It's literally a pre-alpha test for wargaming to see how this mode is going, how this mode is performing, and how are people enjoying it. Now, the general description of this mode is rather easy. It's a 7 versus 1 game mode on tier 10. It's an asymmetrical game mode, takes maximum of 15 minutes. It is being played on 5 different maps, which are Mountain Pass, Cliff, Abbey, Steppes and Siegfried Line. And you have 2 different fractions. You have the strategist, which is the one person. He has a top-down perspective and an ability to control the bots he places. And then we have the ordinary tankers, which are the 7 people, and their whole purpose is to destroy all the tanks of the strategist. The goal of this mode is for each team different. For the tankers, the sole goal is to win by destroying all the strategist's vehicle or capturing their base. The strategist, on the other hand, his goal is to destroy all the tankers' vehicles or capture their base. It is important to point out that the base is getting captured in 1 minute, regardless of how many people are in there. Because as you probably know, usually 1 person, it's 1 minute and 30 seconds. 2 people, 45 seconds. 3 people, 30 seconds, you know? And here it doesn't matter, so you could in theory try to be a sneaky bricky guy and use a T100 LT to drive all the way around their advancing forces to try and capture their base. Important to point out is that if the time runs out, neither of the teams win and we have a draw. Let's quickly talk about the tankers. As already mentioned, there are 7 real players. They can pick their tanks individually. So far, however, reward vehicles are not allowed and platoons are not allowed. And here again, I talked with Keyhand about this, and he says his thinking is, or his ideas, that the vehicles in platoons, well, it's just a little bit too strong then, because if you have a potent platoon, I think it is insanely hard for the commander to win this game. And it is very important for you as a tanker to play, because then you get those intelligence reports, which you will need to play as a strategist. They are the same deal like the keys which you got in the Waffenträger event, where you first had to play as the T-55 Thunderbolts to get those keys before you were able to play as the mighty Waffenträger. As a strategist, we have a little bit more going on, you know. You can place different structures, you can place different bots, which you again have to pick yourself, like what type of tank they want to play, and you are also able to move them around or even play those bots yourself. Let's talk about the different buildings you have. In one hand, you have the watchtowers, which just help you detect people over longer ranges. They have 500 meters of view range, but only 90 hit points. Then we have the pillboxes with an anti-tank machine gun, and those are devastating against lightly armored vehicles, which we'll see in just a second. And lastly, you have those artillery batteries, which are basically ship guns, basically, and they have massive amounts of damage. It is important to note, though, that those structures, you can't move them yourself. Like, you can place them at the beginning of the game yourself at certain key positions, but you cannot control them yourself. Here we also have a picture from the live stream of Keyhand, and as you can see, watchtowers 500 meters of view range, 90 durability. The pillboxes 270 meters of view range, 150 millimeters of penetration, so that's more than enough to penetrate weakly armored vehicles on the side, and you can see 90 times 25 damage. That's around 2,200 damage apparently, and they have a durability of 1,000. Like, Keyhand told me, this guy over here, he told me that when people don't expect those pillboxes, they will get slaughtered by them. Like a Batchat driving around and suddenly, and they are gone. And he said, like, one STB didn't pay attention and lost 3/4 of his hit points to one of those pillboxes alone. And then at the end you have the artillery batteries, and they are a little bit same as they are in the frontline mode, except they finally shoot back. Their armor in the front is decently strong, but against gold ammunition it should be fairly easy to penetrate. They do massive amounts of damage, like, as you can see, 800 average damage, and I saw a part of a clip where one of those guns just slaps an E50 into the turret for 800. And it has 400mm of penetration, so that is more than enough to slap through most enemies you're going to encounter. Maybe except for a mouse. Then, this is the screen the strategist gets. You can see he has his strategist unit, and here it is very, very important to point out that he has to have those vehicles. So if you are the strategist, you have to have those vehicles. Otherwise, you are not allowed to play this mode, basically. It's kind of a little bit weird. You don't really get rentals right now. Maybe down the road, Wargaming decides to give out rentals. We don't know yet. But so far, they are not planned or not in this iteration. It is important to know that you can't go full TD or full heavy tank lineup. This is simply not the case. You're only allowed to take 4 heavy tanks or 4 tank destroyers or anything in between. However, you are allowed to take only mediums or only lights, and you're only allowed to take 1 artillery piece. But this is fairly interesting. You cannot pick tanks twice, so you really do have to think, yo, what am I going to take? Yo, how am I going to do that, you know? What should be my strategy for certain maps? So for example, I can imagine that tanks like the E3 and the Batcher might be very, very potent vehicles because they are very good at defensive play. And what are you going to do as a strategist? Camping. You are defensively trying to defend yourself against the advancing forces, you know? So having something just stay around might be very, very, very good. And again, you can take 1 artillery, maybe 1 more light tank, which you will use to then sneakily try to capture their base, maybe. Who knows? This is how it probably looks as the overhead view, as a top-down view. And you can see right now the person is going for the Guerrilla 15, saying, yo, Guerrilla, go over here. And you can also see you have the Q button, so you can decide to go for the Guerrilla 15 if you want to play it. And down here you can see they are making a flanking maneuver with the Object 430U and the Object 277. The artillery battery here already died, so yeah. We'll see what this is all about, but you can see right now it looks very good for the person here right now because they're already up in kills, and those are almost one-shots. He has still almost full HP, those looking great. And there is still an Object 268 version 4. So yeah, that looks fairly interesting. And again, it is important. To enter battle, all tier 10 vehicles selected must be repaired, manned with crews, and loaded with ammo. They must not be engaged in a normal battle or any other battles, and the rules apply to the tankers as well. Again, implying that you have to have those tier 10 vehicles. This screen right here shows you the overview the strategist gets to put down his defensive forces. And here it is important to point out that, for example, you can't put all the pillboxes at the same spot. There are different spots around the maps where you can place those pillboxes, so you can decide how you want to do that. The same goes for the artillery battery, but there are given positions. Like, for example, for the artillery battery, they're like, let's say on Mountain Pass, 5 positions which you can choose, and you only have 2. So yeah, you have to decide where you want to put them and how you want to put them. Same goes for the tanks, and same goes obviously for the watchtowers. And as you can see right here, this person decided to have 1 artillery battery here, a pillbox over there, and a watchtower over here to spot down here, while a pillbox over here is trying to be cheeky-breaky. And if people are going around here, get a lot of damage into their side. Yeah, that's everything I'm having for you today. Now let's go to the conclusion. And for that, I'd say we jump into a section of the live stream Keyhand provided me with to show you how it is in action. So in this situation, you can see it's still very early on into the game, and Keyhand decided to take the control of the 430U and pushing this Soul 140. Obviously, artillery is also doing its job. The AI is doing well, stunning the 140, and this should be an easy pick for the object for the youuuu of Kihen, which he, again, is playing himself. And now he notices, oh crap, there is a push incoming. A very coordinated push, by the way. So that is very good play by the enemies. And now you can see, he clicks on the minimap saying, yo, 430 youuuu, go all the way over here to try and flank those people. And now you will see that he is trying to take, he's immediately going to the E100, taking the control of the E100 to try and play him as best as possible and try to survive as long as possible this very strong push of the enemies. And you can see he is angling, he is moving himself, and right now he also forget to basically use the 60 TP and the T57 heavy. Now, as he is in the reload time in his E100, he does decide to do that right now. He is taking both the 60 TP and the T57 heavy, the control of them, and says to them, yo, go over here. You know, you can see right now, go over there, and now he picks the control of the T57 heavy, and obviously he has the best aim out there, so he just clips the T57 heavy into 60 TP into submission, and now he immediately takes a 60 TP while the T57 heavy is in reload and tries to finish off the enemy 60 TP. Sadly, his 60 TP had HE loaded for no reason whatsoever, and you can see he's really trying hard right now to get this push under control. And yeah, I was talking to him, I got myself some explanation over this mode from Kihen, and he said so far he is happy with this mode. It was a lot of fun to play, and for people which enjoy games like the Company of Heroes game series, that might be very, very interesting. Especially as you are playing against other real players. So he also said as a tanker he played 1 or 2 games, and it's basically like normal World of Tanks, except there are some more structures which may or may not be devastating for your health. But other than that, as a strategist, he said he had a lot of fun because you had to micromanage a lot. As you can see right here, he's micromanaging hard. T57 heavy is standing still, so he has to issue an order as well to move forward and do some damage. But yeah, in conclusion, I have to say the mode looks very, very fun, and I'll be looking forward to try it out myself. As far as I know, VCCs should have or should get access to the test server regardless, which will mean we're going to be able to do some content on it, and I'm going to keep you up to date with that. What the final plan for this mode is, we don't know. We don't know what Wargaming has in store for us for this game mode, you know? Maybe it is just for fun. Maybe it has something attached to it, which Wargaming usually is trying to do. Just let's look at the Berlin mode, where you were able to get an IS-2 shielded, or super, how awesome Epic Guys would say. Or, you know, maybe it is just something for fun. Who knows? It is a sandbox test after all, but I'm very confident that it is coming to the game regardless, because Wargaming usually is very, very good at pushing out the things they already have a working prototype of, let's be honest. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button to be always up to date with everything World of Tanks related. Thank you so much once more for the 10,000. Sweet and amazing. See you around on the battlefield, and good luck on the Clan Wars campaign. Cheers.